welcome back. Welcome back. Today I'm excited because we will go over and get into the journey to self-love and self-awareness and how important it is to be self-aware and to love yourself. So, to people who don't know me, my name is Eric Bigger. I'm a spiritual fitness expert, author, thought leader, and I'm all about high vibrations, growth, personal development, and healing yourself with the information given to you in this lifetime from your soul consciousness. I talked about self-love before, but I want to get deeper into it. And I think to love yourself more, you got to be more self-aware. There's a quote by Carl Jung. It goes, the most terrifying thing is to accept oneself completely. What does that mean? To accept and love yourself unconditionally, to love all parts of yourself, to love all parts of your being, the good, the bad, the uncomfortable, the ugly, the demon side of yourself, the dark side, all the things. We must love who we are inside out, no matter what look, background, past mistakes, regrets. Love yourself. Love yourself. And most times we look for love in things, people, places, because we don't love ourselves the way we want people to love us. The first step towards change is awareness. You have to be aware. Most of my life, I'm a recovering people pleaser. I didn't have strong boundaries. I didn't love myself. So most of my life being a people pleaser, I overgave because I wanted someone to love me. Having an emotional abandonment wound as a child, not getting that love from my mom and dad the way I wanted, I seeked out love in others. So I became love to be loved. But the love I became, it wasn't from a root of loving myself, it was a root of loving others. So I knew how to listen to people, understand people, watch people's, study people. People pleasers really like subtle manipulation. You're manipulating people to love and like you because that's what you want from them in return. I also was a person who didn't love myself unless I was successful, I was achieving, I was giving or doing for someone. I only loved myself when I did that. So most of my life, I failed at loving others because I didn't love myself. And so when I started getting more authentic to who I am and me setting strong boundaries and being aware of, Eric, this is a pattern. This is a paradigm that you conditioned and programmed because you wanted love. Because the root of my being was from a false narrative of love and it was coming from pain when I was actually coming to evolve to be my most authentic self and giving from that space, I was able to feel more free in love and giving, but I also lost people that I was loving prior to that because I wasn't giving them love from an authentic place. I was giving them love from a false place because I wanted that love, affection, validation, and attention because what I was lacking. So a lot of my love came from lack. When I made the decision to go on the show, I did it for Eric. I did it for me, right? By me putting my needs and wants first, my life actually changed more. But when I put the needs and wants of others before mine, my life didn't go as far, right? So what I had to realize was that in order for me to get the best out of life, I got to put me first. So I say that to say, on a journey to love yourself, make sure you're loving yourself from a place of what you want and what you need to be happy, not what you think you want and need for others to be happy. Because a lot of times we get caught up in that. So anytime I put Eric first, my life jumped. I jumped timelines. I did more shows. I traveled the world. I was doing things I imagined and I dreamed of. It was like beautiful, right? So that's part of my self-awareness coming into awareness. Like, oh, when I'm trying to rob people of their painful experiences and become their God or their savior, I'm actually stopping them from getting the blessing of the growth they need to get, as well as self-love and self-awareness through their pain and suffering. What I'm saying is people, we have to be aware of our blind spots. We have to be aware of where in my life am I not putting myself first? Where in my life am I not loving myself? Where in my life am I loving from a false place of acceptance? And most times in relationships, people look for people to love them the way they want to be loved. But if you don't know your true self, You don't know what being loved really feels if you haven't loved yourself when no one was around. So what does self-love look like? From my perspective, self-love is this. There's a few questions. The first question is, what makes me happy? Ask that question. Question two is, what gets me excited on a day-to-day basis? What gets me excited? And three, what am I good at? And whatever I'm good at, follow that bliss, follow that passion, and give energy to that. When you mark off these three things on a consistent basis, you're tapping into your self-love frequency. You're tapping into the frequency of you loving yourself, putting yourself first over anything else. But most time, because we've been programmed and conditioned that we gotta have a relationship, we have to have the job with the benefits. We need to be married. We need to be scholars and have a degree. All this stuff that the world puts on us. We put all that pressure in our life as if we want that. But this is why self-awareness is key. So right now, where you are, if you're watching this, ask yourself this question. What do I want from myself? Write it down. What do I want from myself? And you don't got to answer right away. Maybe you need to meditate it on 10 to 15 minutes. What do you want from yourself? Now, the way to really get to the what you want from yourself, you have to be aware of what do you need from yourself, right? A lot of times we want things, but there's also we forget about the things we need to get the things we want. So when you asking your question, what do you want from yourself? What do you need from yourself to get the things you want? What I need from myself is rest, saying no when I don't feel inclined to do something, eating healthy. Health is a need of mine, necessity. Fitness, movement is a necessity, and doing the things I'm passionate about. I need those things. So if I'm doing those five things for myself, my wants will actually crystallize and manifest for me. But if I'm starving my needs to get my wants, when I get my wants, I'm not going to be able to sustain them because I neglected my needs. So get clear on what is your needs that you need from yourself every day without anybody being in your life. What do you need? And that'll help you get more to what you want. All right, so that's a little bit of self-love. Let's transition into self-awareness. So self-awareness is also being aware of the things you don't like about yourself and being truthful and authentic about that. There was a moment in my life where when I was on a TV show, The Bachelorette, we had a producer assigned to us for each show, for each day, when we were traveling, when we were going on dates. And I wanted to know the why to everything. Like I wanted to know why. Why? And my producer was at the time, shouts out to Eddie Young. He was like, man, don't you want to be surprised? And by me trying to be so curious and wanted to know the why to everything before I did it, it kept me in such a lack and limitation vibration and not abundant vibration. Because when you're in abundant vibration, you just trust. You're not questioning. The why is a question because the root of the question of the why is the fear. I was afraid of what's going to happen. So I was trying to protect myself. So I didn't like that I was so curious because my curiosity wasn't, it was good, but it also was bad because I was trying to control everything before it happened. I wanted to be ready, perfect before the presentation instead of accepting and trusting that the greatest thing will happen because I have faith. Write this down. It's just coming to me. Write this down. When you have love and faith in your vibration, when you have love and faith in your frequency, you cannot have fear. So what will it take for you to have love and faith within your own right, within your own energy? So fear does never even enter. And that's loving yourself, believing in yourself, setting strong boundaries, right? Being aware of the awareness, being aware of the things you don't like about yourself and accepting that and loving yourself for that. No one's perfect. You don't want to be perfect because perfection is not real. I don't want a perfect person. I don't. And I don't want to be a perfectionist no more. I've done that most of my life. So the key here is that the best self-love you can get is when you get to the root of what you're not aware of. So get your rest, eat clean, work out, listen to your intuition, speak your truth. That's another thing. If you're not speaking your truth, if you're not saying no to things you don't want to do, you're not properly loving yourself. So that goes get into like self-respect. So the self-awareness part is the part of you being curious, be curious in a good way about what do I need to work on? What are my weaknesses? How can I get better? What am I doing that I'm not seeing? right? I also know that a part of my shadow frequency is my delivery can be off sometimes when I'm giving feedback or when I'm talking to someone. That's a Sag moon. I can be a little blunt in my approach. That's not always good because I can hurt someone's feeling not knowing. I'm just being myself. But I also gotta tread water and tread lightly with some individuals or some energies because you don't know how a person might take it. So that's me being aware of Eric. Change your delivery. Come with more grace and compassion and not so much harsh truth that feels like love to you but can feel like hurt to someone else. So this is me being aware of where I'm lacking or where I can work on, right? Or realizing I don't always have to talk when I'm in someone's presence. When I have something to say, I can just listen and be silent. And maybe when I do speak, I'm speaking with more intention and more purpose, all awareness. So, why is it important for you to have self awareness? Is because self awareness will make you more intentional about your everyday living. When you're aware, when you can see things beyond what others see within people, within your life, you can accept constructive criticism with love. Most times when people can't accept constructive criticism or feedback is because they're not aware, they don't have self-awareness, and they're so afraid of their other side, the side they don't like, that they neglect it. And so their ego takes over and push off and make people wrong. You don't know what you're talking about. So listen, people, self-awareness is important because it allows you to receive feedback, to evolve and grow your soul and to grow your life. We also want to be aware because we want to see what other people see that we can't see to also grow and be a better individual. Just imagine if you're in a relationship and your partner saying, babe, I need you to communicate with me when I'm feeling off and bad. I feel like you ignore me. And then you go and say, well, I just don't want to talk when you're in a negative space or when you're off because then I'm uncomfortable. But it's like, I get that. But sometimes when your partner, that person's in that negative space or they're uncomfortable, maybe that's when they want you to talk the most or listen the most, right? It's a two-way street, right? There's compromises that has to be made in a partnership, in a relationship. So voice your opinion with love, but also don't run when things get tough. That's just an example. Self-love is important because you must love yourself. If you don't love yourself, I don't care if you get in a relationship with someone who loves you. They can only love you to the capacity to love yourself. I'm gonna say it again. The love you seek outside of yourself can only happen based on the love you give yourself when no one's around. They can only love you to the capacity you love yourself. So if you're not setting boundaries, if you're not putting yourself and your needs and wants first, if you're not saying no when you want to, and you just putting everybody first before yourself, that's not self-love. That's self-neglect. That's self-sabotage. And a lot of us sabotage things that come into our life that we've been calling in. It's like, I want these things. And the reason we can't keep them is because we haven't gave those things to ourselves when no one was looking. You know how some people are like, oh, that was such a great relationship, and I just messed it up because you wasn't loving yourself when that relationship wasn't around. You talked about it, you manifested it, but you couldn't sustain it because what did I say in the beginning? You was focusing on your wants and you never met your needs. So when you don't meet your needs individually, when your wants come, you can't keep them. So that's why self-love is important because self-love is the needings, the needs, serving your needs. You need rest. You need to put yourself first. You need to believe in yourself. You need to have faith. You need to do what's best for your higher self when no one's looking. You need to have full integrity. You need to be truthful with yourself. So when those things do come in, you know how to receive them, you know how to accept them, and you know how to advance and enhance them with them in your life. So today, think about this. Where are you lacking in your awareness? And where are you letting go of loving yourself when someone comes in your life? And I'm not saying it's easy to love yourself because there's parts of us we don't like and we've been programmed to do things that's not healthy, but it seems healthy because how we were raised. How many times you know people who attract a partner that is really good for them, but their nervous system can't receive that partner because they're so traumatized and they're used to trauma bonding or codependency. Or how many times there's a big opportunity, like this funny, the Bachelorette, right? The Bachelor franchise. I know so many women in LA is like, oh, I didn't do that show. I get called all the time, and I just don't want them to label me or make me out to this person. And I'm like, you're not in control. Who said they're going to make you that way? You're creating, you're projecting because of fear. Now you're not embracing the opportunity that could change your life because it changed my life. People just have this fixated perception on what they think because of reality TV, which I understand. But you just self-sabotage because I know no TV network or show is going to consistently want you on TV for no reason. There's a reason beyond your understanding. So when you have an opportunity that don't come normally, oh, you better embrace it, even when you feel uncomfortable. When I said yes to the show, I was uncomfortable. I had no one around, but I had to trust myself. I said yes. I went to Peru this year to hike Machu Picchu. I'm afraid of heights. I did plant medicine, Wachuma, St. Pedro. For the first time, I've never smoked weed in my life. I said yes because it came to me. I didn't look for it. That when opportunities come into your life, you got to have the self-awareness, the discernment to know when to say yes so that can take your life to the next level. A lot of times in life, we have opportunities and things that come in because of fear and we want to control things. We don't say yes, so then we stay stuck and stagnant in our life, not knowing that that opportunity that seemed uncomfortable, that was new because it was so much uncertainty. When you're self-aware and you're working on loving yourself, you know what you deserve. So even if you get opportunity to go on a TV show that doesn't make sense. Like I've never would thought I would go on a dating show, right? And I was speaking on these young ladies, they thought they had the answer, and then 3 years, 4 years down the line, no opportunity came to them, and then they regret it, right? Because they didn't have the discernment, they didn't have the self-awareness and the love of self to know like this is for me. I don't know why this door is here, but I'm going to open it and say yes so I can walk into the best life that I deserve because I'm aware, because I love myself. Sometimes loving yourself doesn't mean everything that you're going to embrace is going to be comfortable. Loving yourself is embracing uncomfortable moments to get to a moment of healing and evolution and growth so you can feel good about your life. You can feel good about your decisions. So, people, be self aware, love yourself unconditionally to know the truth that is looking for you to receive it. A lot of times we coming from the ego mind and not our God mind, our soul's mind to take on life in such an effortless way when we're in alignment of our soul's assignment. And that's the journey of self-love and self-awareness is to get in alignment of your soul's assignment so you can live your soul purpose, not your ego purpose. Okay? So if this video resonates, share it, subscribe, like, hit the subscribe button. Join me. Let's increase our subscriptions. I want more people to tap in with me. If you're on Instagram, connect with me at Eric Bigger. I'm also on TikTok under the same thing. Also Threads. Follow me on Threads. I'm always quoting and sending inspiration daily. Don't forget to get you some Miracle Season merch. Promo code half off. Use the promo code MSEASON, MSEASON, all caps. And if you feeling the call and you're feeling pulled to work with me one-on-one, click the link to sign up for one-on-one coaching and let's have the intentions call and see if we fit each other, if we're in alignment. I don't take on clients because you're available for me. I take on clients because we're in divine alignment of our soul's purpose to help you get where you want to go. With that being said, guys, it's been great. It's been phenomenal. Love yourself. Be aware. Set strong boundaries. Say no to things that don't serve you because you're saying yes to yourself because you want something greater. And not all money is good money, and not all opportunities that's presented should be for you to take. So that's why you got to be aware and have discernment. That's all. That's it. I'm out. Peace.